back, dear delegates. Welcome to the first plenary session of the Virtual Rotaract South Asia Summit 2021. Our first plenary session will be the panel discussion on the topic Embracing Elevator Tract. With the Elevator Tract movement, there have been a series of changes coming up. Let us hear from our leaders in South Asia on how they are adapting to the changes and how shall we approach these changes. Here on the panel, we have 4 DRRs from different districts in South Asia. DRR Rotaractor Kausar Rubel from RID 3281. DRR Rotaractor Ojas Joshi from RID 3141. DRR Rotaractor Mathurima Varman from RID 3291. And DRR Rotaractor Rajvamshi from RID 3190. As a moderator, we have PTRR Rotarian Summit Nepal RID 3292. Now handing over to the panel moderator.
Namaste and warm welcome to everyone in this panel discussion where we are talking about the one of the important topic which has been one of the hot debate from the year 2019 when Rotary International Council on Legislation had adopted the strategy to elevate the Rotaract, and there were numerous structural changes, numerous legislative changes in Rotary International policy, and that has created a big buzz among the districts as well as among the Rotaractors in the entire world. So on that basis, we are having a discussion today in this Rotaract South Asia Summit 2020-21, where I'm here with 4 important person. I say important as in they are the leaders of 4 different districts representing the South Asia. And I'm sure their voice will represent the voice of South Asian Rotaractors. And I'm very delighted to have you all in this session. Welcome you all. Thank you. So I just want this session as a facilitator, facilitator of this session. I want this session to be very interactive and very pragmatic as possible, very practical as possible, because since we know that the structural thing, the policy is already there. Now we are more concerned on the practicality of this on the ground zero. Basically for the Rotaractors who wants to be a Rotaractors, or those who are recently been Rotaractor, and for those who want to be a leaders in the upcoming days. So having said this all, let me start with a very generic question to starting from Raj from District 3190. What are the changes that you have observed in your particular districts after this policy of Rotary International of elevating Rotaract has launched? What is the change that you have observed in your district?
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity again. So what changes I have seen in my district is majorly the clubs have started looking at their financial structures. Could be like having a solid bank account, could be anything related to finances, because they're excited about the global grants opportunity through Elevate Rotaract. And one more important thing that I have observed is clubs have become more aware about the importance of the standard constitution, the Rotaract constitution, the bylaws, how important it is to have the bylaws set and try to implement them to be prepared. So overall, it's a learning process and they have taken it quite well, and the journey is continuing pretty peaceful.
Thank you, Raj. The same questions goes to DRR Madhurima.
I think that's a wonderful question, and of course, a very good evening to everyone over here. And adding on to what Raj was saying, of course, the clubs in our districts are, they're going ahead and looking for options to open their bank accounts, because from 2022, we have the RIDUs going ahead and getting implemented, the constitution, the bylaws. They're, of course, looking into all of these administrative things, but adding on to that, the clubs in our districts, of course, gone ahead and, they have, I think, just taken up the opportunity as Rotary has opened it to open new and of course sponsor new Rotaract clubs, And I think one of the major reasons why the Elevate Rotaract concept came into being was because to, just go ahead and increase the reported membership of Rotaractors in RI. And the district, as 3291, as we know it, we have already witnessed a reported membership, the increase in reported membership at RI by 50%. Since 1st July 2020, of course, that. And not only the Rotaractors, not only the Rotaract clubs, it's good to see that in our district, even the Rotarians, especially the DG-elect, Rotarian Probi Chatterjee, he has embraced the concept of Elevate Rotaract and gone ahead and, included Rotaractors as co-chairs in the committees of his Rotary Council. And I think that's wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely, Madhurima. You both pointed out two different aspects. One is the making the administrative administration correct. One is on financial part and reporting on district. Another part Madhurima was trying to highlight was incorporating Rotaract into the mainstream of Rotary. So that is fantastic. That are things that I just hear from you both. Let me hear from DRR Ozis. What he has to say.
Well, I think my thoughts echo with both Madhurima and Raj. I think as South Asia, all of our districts are very active in Rotaract. And I think governors, governor-elects, governor nominees, DRR-elects, everyone's taking active steps with administration, with respect to projects and committees. I have another point which I think was somewhere I felt needed as I was growing in my Rotaract days, where I feel that Rotaract has always been a committee, right? Even at Rotary International, some Rotaractors, some DRRs from South Asia have got a chance to represent as part of an Interact committee or a Rotary Rotaract committee. I feel now there probably now needs to be an international Rotaract committee which is defined or which probably can be looked up on by DRRs, by MDIO leaders, where that one step of international perspective was, I think, missing. It was limited to a South Asia or a regional perspective. So I think that is something that I envision for the future. And I think one step towards this has already been taken by our Rotary International President-elect, where a World Rotaract Chair has come in. One of our past district governors from South Asia is the World Rotaract Chair. So I think that itself talks that they are looking at Rotaract now as a holistic organization right from the top to a general body member. So I think a lot of changes in the leadership will be there, and I think more opportunities for DRRs, especially to represent beyond their country.
Absolutely, you flagged a very important thing that we Rotaractors has been always nagging to Rotary International and Rotarians around the globe. So very important thing you have shared here. We look forward to that opportunity as a Rotaractor in the coming days. Very importantly and well said. So moving to Bangladesh, Kausar, how do you see the changes you have due to this change in policy in Bangladesh?
Okay, thank you. Thank you all of you from 60 to 81. Actually, it is an honor for Rotaract. Rotaractors are feeling more independent and they have a unique identity now. And Rotaractors are more conscious to open their RI account nowadays after the Elevate Rotaract policy. And most importantly, this year Rotaractors got the chance to work with Rotarians along in the Rotary district. Our district governor, Rubaiyat Hussain, opens opportunities for Rotaractors to committees actually. So it was chances for Rotaractors. And I hope in future days, district governors in Rotary committees, Rotaractors will take part more efficiently.
Absolutely, Kausar, very well said. So thank you for answering that very well and being very practical and being honest to yourself. Now moving with another question. I see that there is lots of structural recuperations happening because of this decision in the Rotary International. And since you are the first batch of DRR who had to incorporate this structural changes into your bylaw or your day-to-day operations in the district. So what actually the, structural recuperation you have to incorporate in this year as a DRR? Let me start with Madhurima.
Yeah. So another wonderful question, but of course, in 2020-21, we witnessed the Elevate Rotaract Conclave, and it came into being from 1st July 2020. But since the transition just happened, the Rotaract clubs are getting open up to the changes. They're still imbibing the changes, so we are still in the process. And of course, very minor changes have taken place in this Rota year, considering 3291, as much as I have seen. So a few clubs I've seen they've gone ahead and they've removed their upper age limits. And if I talk about dues, since most of the membership in my district is still very young, they're still in colleges or just school pass outs and everything, the dues structure still remains on a nominal basis. But one, I don't know if I should call it a little. I don't actually have the term to assign to it, but one thing that I've noticed, I've heard from a few clubs, is that they're thinking of inducting in Rotarians to their Rotaract clubs. We've seen Rotaractors moving into their into Rotary clubs, dual membership and everything. But one thing that I've witnessed, I've heard from 2-3 clubs of my district, is that they wish to, just go ahead and induct their Rotary committee chairs into the Rotaract clubs to be dual members. So these are the few things that I have witnessed in 3291 as of now. I'm sure we are left to witness many more phenomenal things happening down the line.
Okay, thank you, Madhurima. That will be very privileged to have Rotarians as a Rotaractor in the South Asia in general. So that will be a very fantasized thing actually for me as well to have Rotarians. So moving ahead with Ojas, how do you see, like, if there has been any changes in the structural part, as Madhurima was mentioning, be it in terms of age limit, be it in terms of financial aspect, or anything that you would like to mention?
I think one thing that has happened is, yes, I see this as a positive change where Madhurima spoke about, how Rotarians are getting involved in Rotaract or wanting to be part, because I think that wasn't happening where Rotary was always looked as a parent body. It was always looked as they are the guidance or advisors. Now I think Rotarians can probably learn from Rotaractors, because I think the energy, at least from an energy perspective, the energy among Rotaractors is way higher, right? As well as we adapt to new technologies, Zoom being an example, or many other digital technologies, something that Rotaractors learn very quickly. So I feel that transition has also happened, because with administrative changes, Rotary now realizes that it's not just a program, we are an equal status member. And I think this, as an understanding, will take time for a general body member, for a club president. As DRRs, we probably understand and have a great deeper understanding of this, because we'll see some significant changes in the movement over the spread of, say, the next 3 to 5 years. And I think a long-term vision, it looks on the positive that there will be some concrete structural changes that probably needed to be done. So I think it's one step for the future, and the future seems bright.
Yeah, yes, future seems very, very bright for every one of us. And as you mentioned, the membership now doesn't mean Rotary membership only. Now membership means Rotary and Rotaract membership for Rotary International. So that is one of the important aspects that's been flagged by Rotary International to invite younger generation into Rotary. So same questions goes to Kausar. Have you felt any structural change in the district after this policy has been emulgated?
Okay, actually, Elevate Rotaract are not applied fully yet. It will take time to adapt the changes to Rotarians and Rotaractors. Actually, Rotary International took the initiative of Elevate Rotaract to recognize our role, to increase our numbers, and to increase our involvement to the action of Rotary. So they wanted to decrease our restrictions and bindings. They leave it to us, gave us the right to set our limits. But they recommended the youths to be the member of Rotaract clubs, and the potential aged are welcomed in Rotary. And they opened the opportunity like dual membership in Rotary and Rotaract as well. Still, we are not facing problems, but worried that in future maybe potential aged will not join in Rotary. They will exercise power and authority in Rotaract. So we are worried about it actually. And about dues, we know before 2000, Rotaractors paid RI dues. And those ex-Rotaractors are now in Rotary in leadership. So they paid RI dues and they did good Rotaracting. So I hope from the next year, from the 2020-23, we will have only dedicated Rotaractors and who are willing to pay RI dues. That's it.
Absolutely, because a very nice thing that you pointed. It's not always about the numbers. In most of the occasions, it's about having a quality member. I also used to advocate it's not being a Rotaract member is easy, but being a Rotaractor is a difficult task. So to internalize the values of Rotaract and being a Rotaractor is tough. Rotaract member, it's quite easy. You know, you attending a meeting and you get inducted in a couple of months. But being a true Rotaractor needs a serious dedication to the organizations. Very well said, Kausar. Now, the same question goes to DRR Raj.
Okay. In our district, also the major concern was definitely the dues because we have a lot of institution-based tractors. So I'm very happy to say that our upcoming leaders are thinking about per capita dues, which was never there in our district. So we were only taking the dues from the clubs as a whole. So our district never had a per capita dues, and to align with the Rotary International policy, basically the Elevate Rotaract, the changes have been taken into consideration, and gradually the process has begun. And one more advantage, not any repercussions as such, but one more advantage that we had is we had a policy coming, we had a system where our senior Rotaractors used to, once the term 30, they used to take a break, and them coming back to Rotary was little, what to say, not completely assured. So because of this change, I'm very happy to get guidance from few senior Rotaractors officially also. It's been good, and of course, people are Rotaractors are excited.
Thank you, Raz. This policy will definitely help the RI President-elect's theme of expanding the membership from 1.2 million to 1.3 million. One of the big challenge that he has taken for Rotary 2021-22. So that's a very good sign from District 3190. So having said this all, now let me move to another question, and this time to Madhurima. As others was mentioning that previously Rotary was more of a mentor kind of sort of body to Rotaractors, and there was only privilege for Rotary Club to charter a new Rotaract Club, where Rotary Club was a kind of parents and the Rotaract being a sibling. However, with introduction of new policy of Elevate Rotaract, where even the Rotaract clubs has the authority and this legal authority to, like charter a Rotaract club. And since, as far as my knowledge is concerned, District 3291 has already got a Rotaract club who have chartered a new Rotaract club. So in that context, how do you see the differences in the mindset of Rotaract clubs who are chartered by, like another Rotaract club? How do you see the differences?
Thank you for the question yet again. One thing that I would like to add on this time is that in the year 2020-21, while sponsoring a Rotaract club in our district, the district governor, Rotarian Shudhak Mukherjee, he went ahead and laid down the foundation that each and every club, be it being sponsored by a Rotary club or a Rotaract club, would have to have an orientation program on behalf of a district's team. So each club which has been chartered in this Rota year has been oriented by the DRCC and myself. So as of now, I don't see any difference between the two kinds of club, two kinds of sponsored club by Rotary or Rotaract. And one good thing that I've witnessed, I've been associated with 3291 for the past 5 years. So one good thing that I have witnessed, be it from my parent Rotary or from the Rotary clubs that I have dealt with in the past or as the DRR, is that more or less most of them were like friends. So there was never this kind of a feeling that we are the parent body, you are the daughter club of ours, and you have to listen to whatever we have to say. So this one healthy relationship has always been maintained between our Rotaract clubs and our Rotary clubs, and that is being followed into the concept of Rotaract clubs sponsoring Rotaract clubs. So more or less, they're all walking on the same stones and they're functioning in the same way. And also, our Rotaractors are learning from practicality; they're learning from experience. So it's more or less the same. Like there's no difference in mindset or anything. They're experiencing Rotaract together, and they're adding on to Rotaract together. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhurima. Wonderfully said. And now I just want to move towards Ojas. Since you were advocating, actually mentioning about the relationship between Rotary and Rotaract, so there are two aspects. One is in the documentation that this elevator track will help us to be, like more close to Rotaracts and have a close relation between Rotary and Rotaracts. However, the scene may be very different in your context and in every district context. So how you see this context actually change in terms of Rotary and Rotaract relationship after formulation of this policy?
I think, especially speaking of my district, or I speak from the certain districts that I've experienced. I think yes, the relation will change. I'll be candid to admit that yes, there's always been some sort of a thin line or a bridge, which a lot of Rotaractors say that we need to bridge the gap between Rotary and Rotaract. But I've always had the thought that sometimes it's okay to have a bridge. It's not okay to not have anything that connects. Having two nations or which don't are not connected is a bigger challenge. So, like Madhurima said, this one point about Rotaract Club sponsoring another Rotaract Club, right? I think it works brilliantly for institutions because a lot of institution-based members they are used to a certain kind of culture in a Rotaract Club that they belong. So they want to retain that culture and want to avoid joining a community-based club or another Rotaract Club which may not have the same culture, the same set of like-minded people. So that there, I think that perspective of a Rotaract Club chartering another comes in. And on the flip side, I think to this point is that there are benefits of having a parent Rotary Club. The networking that you experience, I think a lot of it is dependent on the Rotary Club, most not in Rotaract, because in Rotaract you deal with or you engage with people who are more or less the same age, between 18 to 30. While Rotary, you get a wide spectrum, right from 30 to a 60, 65-year-old, 70. And I think sometimes these experiences really help. We're all in it for the experience. We're all in it to learn something from each other. So I see this as a double-edged sword. I think only years will tell. I'm not very sure about what will happen. Maybe the first few years it will be great, but I think we'll have to find a common balance or a common thread, whether that leads to another committee or that leads to some pathways that get created between Rotary and Rotaract that are defined and more structured. I think time will tell. And 22, I think 2022, that year especially is going to be very exciting for the DRRs of that year because there's a lot of other uncertainties that they have to look at, which are not COVID related, which are not online and offline. So all in all, great times because with uncertainties comes change, as has been 2021. So I think we just stay tuned to understand what happens 1 year down the line.
Absolutely. So nicely crafted answer by Others. And yes, a lot of water to go under the bridge to see how it actually, reflects in the days to come. And 2022 is going to be the most, very critical year in terms of implementing this policy. So on the same note that what Ozo said, I'd like to bring this to Raj. Since you are mentioning about the institution-based clubs in your district, since there are a lot of institution-based district clubs in your district. So how do you think this, their experience might be, altered or affected by this policy, basically for the institution-based clubs?
Okay. Basically, institution-based clubs, the major advantage for them is the strength of Rotaractors. They have a lot of Rotaractors and they have a lot of membership opportunities. Given the current due structure coming in, definitely there will be one downside that the strength might reduce a bit. So that there's definitely that possibility. But on the brighter side, what I could see is from the past 5 to 6 years of my Rotaract experience, most of the leaders in our district also they have started their active Rotaract journey from institution clubs. So what has helped them is in the matter of seriousness. So by having been part of the board of directors of their college or their institution, they have got some seriousness about Rotaract, and most of them have continued their community based club Rotaract journey. So what I could see here is by introducing this dues, one positive effect would be we can get in touch with a lot of more serious Rotaractors Once they are ready to spend, means they definitely are aware that they are going to get back something. They are looking forward seriously for something. So this would ensure a lot of active Rotaractors continue their Rotaract journey down the community-based club, or even chartering community-based clubs on their own. Only negative point could be a little reduction in the strength, the membership for the initial years is what I would say. End of the day, it has a very good positive effect for the movement.
Thank you, Raz, for the wonderfully answered the topic. So now moving ahead with the question to Kausar. Since District 3281 is one of the largest district in the region, and we can see that there are few agenda such as like age limit and dues has been like shared talked a lot. How do you think for a district with so much large number of clubs and the Rotaractors would actually affect in the Rotaract dynamics in terms of being more like participatory or more organizing more projects or like representing clubs in beyond the district level? What are the changes that you see in the district like yours?
Okay, thank you again. Maybe we will lost few clubs because of RI dues. Maybe few of them will not able to afford it. But as I said before, we will get dedicated Rotaractors. We will get qualified Rotaractors who are willing to pay RI dues and willing to learn from this platform, willing to practice leadership and gather something from this platform actually. So as well as in our country, we practiced living Rotaract.
Thank you, Kausar. Okay.
Actually,
Thank
what
you.
was I saying?
Yeah, please.
We practiced living Rotaract at 30. A few of them joined Rotary at early ages, between 30 to 40, but most of them couldn't afford Rotary and departed from this movement after Rotaract. To continue Rotaract till I'm not ready to join Rotary. And thus Rotary International will get more membership. Apart the bad practices of power, upper age limit is also a benefit. That's it.
Thank you, Kausar. Hope the districts in South Asia will, like be able to internalize these changes in and embrace these changes in our structures and in our project activities and all the regular operations of regular business of district. So, listening to all the four DRR here, what I can gather is like all the four districts, and since you are the representative for all the districts in South Asia for now, now I can sense that you all have embraced the change that Rotary International had tried to, like penetrate into the ground of Rotaracts and into the club level. So I can sense that you have started embracing that information. So thank you so much for that thought. So now moving ahead again with, let me go with Ozas. So now, do you think that initiation of RI dues will affect the membership, especially in the institution-based clubs, or have Rotaract started to adopt this change already and have actually taken it positive or not? What do you think as a leader?
Oh, I think it will definitely affect. I think everyone's most worried about that because in our district, most of the members are between the age of 18 to 21, 22, where college is forms the most primary reason for them to join Rotaract. And everyone's covered about quality, but I think yes, membership numbers, the growth that is projected, it will first dip and then probably rise. So I don't think it will sustain, or it will sustain at the number that we are currently, because South Asia is one of the largest in terms of Rotaract membership across the world. So that number is definitely going to dip, and I think the fall will be really steep. But then, of course, if there's a certain vision that is projected, and what they've done is with the upper age limit removed, I think there will be more Rotaractors who retain in the movement even beyond 30. I think that can be great, because yes, there might be some of us who don't want to join Rotary, want to still stay connected to youth initiatives or youth programs where they can help in those activities as compared to Rotary, which is more holistic. So of course, having said that, I think for colleges, what Rotary clubs need to prepare for is the RI dues. And some clubs are actively taking this where they are increasing their dues, or they're finding ways to raise money for the future. This is a great positive change, because most clubs would raise money for the current year and then they would just simply hand it over or probably start off again for the next year. Now clubs are thinking, okay, for the next 3 years, this is the minimum amount of money that we need, or funds that need to be raised. And I think that's great, because organizations don't work 1 year at a time, right? Organizations need to continuously sustain. So that is great, because for an 18-year-old to understand this, it's brilliant for them, because they'll eventually go on to become leaders in business, corporate, freelancers, whatever they wish to do. And understanding money and how it works, and understanding how funds are supposed to be sustained, is a great lesson to learn from this current phase that we are in, Rotaract.
Well said, DRR Ozas. I echo what you said. Basically, two important things that you have mentioned. One is it will eventually help in the retention of the Rotaractors who are in the age of 30 or 30 beyond that. And another thing is that the club have started the financial management plan. They have started managing the financial resources and ensuring that they will be able to sustain this, like regulations in the district. So very well said. Now let me take another questions to DRR Raj. Since very start of the conversation, someone was saying that now Rotaractor are able to take global grant, and that's being a big, kind of big thing for everyone, to hear when it was said that, okay, now Rotaractor can do a global grant. But as you know, like the path to achieve a global grant and the requisite that Rotary International has set to successfully beat the global grant is making is very stiff. And now there's more regulations coming with the district designated fund to be like only thing that Rotary International can will be matching. So how do you say this sense of happiness and excitement, and compared to the requirements that is set for a global grant? How you say this?
So basically, all the Rotaractors are very much excited about global grants. The reason being, most of the time, amazing projects plans will be there, but due to some shortage of funds or finances, a lot of projects, very good projects, are kept on hold or delayed. But now that this opportunity is quite open, clubs have started looking at how they can get global grants, and few Rotaract clubs have smartly associated with their Rotary clubs in understanding the process of global grants. Definitely not as a part of receivers, but to observers, to understand and what can be done. That has been a good practice in a lot of Rotaract clubs. And it's really good to see Rotarians also reaching out to us and try to educate us about the importance of global grants and the process. So the thought process has definitely started, and within the upcoming year, the more focus will definitely go there to understand. And this global grants initiative will also motivate all the Rotaractors to give back as RADs. Basically, RADs is nothing but it is going to return to us as global grants. As a common understanding, only 2% of whatever funds received by the Rotary Foundation or the Rotary is an expenses for administrative, just 2%. Rest all is coming back to us with global grants and projects. So I think clubs are definitely excited, and they have started to understand the process closely, watch closely, and understand the process better. It's gonna be a huge thing for Rotary.
I agree 100% with DRR Raz. And since Rotary International has also tactfully said that though they are able to fight for the global grant from year 22-23, they will not be eligible until they have been a part of Rotary International global grant in some way or another by the time they apply for the global grant. So yes, as you said, and since Ozas was mentioning earlier that we are full of energy, the youths are full of energy. So, and we have lots of knowledge on technicalities and the documentation. I personally believe that Rotaractor can be a part of various components of global grants, like need assessment, where we can actively go into the community and do the need assessment, be drafting the proposals and sitting for the meetings and that kind of thing that we can involve in the early days of this regulations before we actually fight independently or file for independently for the global grant. Very well said, Raj. Thank you so much for that. So now I love to go to Madhurima. regarding the age. That's very concerning for Rotaractors in South Asia, especially. Even if you might have faced this challenge during your DRSF. So one fact is going to be the obvious is that the demography of the Rotaractors age group is going to be changed. So that is obvious. So how do you see that as a leader, as a DRR, you have to, like make a balance between the age 18 to maybe 35. And that's where the essence of being a youth is, where you need to be very energetic and you need to be able to, like be more vibrant and dynamics. How do you see this balance between the age 18 and 35 is going to be blended? How well do you think it will blend in your district?
Thankfully, I am not at the receiving end of this. I'm still the DRR of 2020-21, and the sharp end of the sword is going to be faced by the leadership in 2022-23. So, of course, being a representative of a district where the average age group is between 19 to 23, and of course, most of the clubs being community based, one good thing about institution based clubs is, Indian parents always think that. No, the college or the university is asking for money, so it must be related to education or something. So I don't know, I feel it that way, being still a student and everything. So community based clubs having a membership group of 18 to 21, 23 who are not, yet not working and everything, they face most of the problems. And 3291 still has a membership in that line. So definitely not in this year, maybe not in the upcoming year. We're not going to face this problem where the demographic is going to change. We are still going to have a youth-centric movement. But definitely in 2-3 years down the line, once the RI membership gets implemented, the demography is going to change. We are going to shift to the working class who can go ahead and afford, or at least arrange for that amount of money. But seconding OJUS, looking at the clubs working right from now, financially planning for 22-23 is something that still gives us hope. And one more thing, I think, at this point of time, if this demography change keeps on happening, the essence of Rotaract will be lost. We'll blend into Rotary, and eventually we'll just be left with Rotary. There will be no essence of Rotaract if the leaders of the future, they are not able to go ahead and maintain the membership strength in the age group of the student category. So of course it is in the hand of the club leaders more than the district leaders. The clubs will have to strategize not only financially, on administrative terms as well, on how to retain the members once the RI dues are implemented, and of course to help their members. Just because someone doesn't have the money, they shouldn't just leave the movement. The club should stand by them, because of course the individual is contributing in some way or the other to build the club for all these years. So the club should stand by such individuals, and the club leader should take it forward and help the district leadership. I think that this is where the strength of the clubs come in.
Thank you. Very well said. District is nothing without the club, and we value club more than anything. And as you have mentioned, as you just mentioned, eventually, if the age limit is going, the gap between the age limit is going to be bigger and bigger, the sense of Rotaract will eventually fall down. So we don't want that to happen. And it's the decision to be made by club levels to like how to retain the limit, the age limit, to how to minimize that gap between the upper limit and lower limit of the Rotaract clubs in our district. So very well said, Madhurima. I really appreciate what you just said. So moving ahead with another question, I'd like to float this to Kausar regarding the the one regulation that Rotary International has floated is that now you can independently be a Rotaract club. You don't need a mentorship. You don't need a sponsoring club. You don't even need a Rotaract club to charter. You have that autonomous authority to charter yourself. So how do you see, Kausar, this will actually affect in terms of mentorship and the knowledge of the foundation level and fundamental knowledge of Rotaract? And how do you say this is going to change and affect?
Okay, in this digital era, youths are more updated and have learning opportunities in online. Rotary International is adding lessons for Rotaractors too in learning center, So self-chartered clubs will not miss the learning. And on the other hand, Rotary clubs cannot be chartered without the approval of district governor. So there is no chance to grow clubs exponentially. And In our district, we arrange a training seminar from district level, regional level, zonal level, club level. So I hope they will not miss learning, and they will get proper guidance from the district always. So it will not a big issue, I think.
Okay, thank you, Kausal. And yeah, I'm very happy to hear that lots of trainings are going in very different levels of Rotaract in District 3281. And that is how we should go in terms of imparting the knowledge of Rotaract. So almost we are at the end of this session, very beautiful session, very well-spoken session. And I'd like to put forward a common question to you all. As we knew, as we come to know that there is lots of changes and lots of positive that we have already incorporated in our districts, and we have started internalizing that sooner or later we need to accept this and move forward. And the only thing we can do is to strategize how to develop different strategies to ensure that we don't fall apart in terms of valuing the youth and valuing the essence of Rotaract movement. So thank you everyone for this well-spoken session. But before ending the session, I'd like to give floor starting with Raz. Like, what do you want to give a message to our Rotaractors who are very new to this movement? The final words of wisdom, actually.
Thank you for the opportunity. So, what I could say to all is, when I had heard about Elevate Rotaract, I was quite skeptical, thinking that will Rotaractors will be able to adapt to the change. But this pandemic challenging year has shown us that no matter what comes, Rotaract leaders are ready to adapt to the new normal. And if not anything, I am looking forward for an exciting changes that keeps happening in Rotaract movement. And I'm pretty sure the essence of Rotaract will somehow be managed, and the people will definitely find new ways to, what to say, explore new opportunities. And the Rotaract movement will continue to a greater heights.
Thank you, DRR Raz. Now moving on ahead with Madhurima. What are the final words to the youths who are listening right now to you?
I think I'll talk on lines with Raj. I think this year has been a rather difficult year for everyone. We had to shift from real to virtual, and of course we've witnessed Rotaractors, we've witnessed our batchmates becoming frontline workers out of nowhere. So according to me, Rotaractors are just superheroes. So I don't think that these are going to be challenges that the Rotaractors cannot overcome. I feel that Rotaractors can overcome anything on this planet. So all we need to do is be together, stand by each other, and believe in the true spirit of Rotaracting as a passion that we have built over the years, and keep contributing towards the movement. Keep contributing towards the movement, which has given us many things in terms of friendships, connections, I think skills, in some cases, job opportunities, a lot of things. So it's time, it is going to get tough, but I think when it gets tough, the tough gets going. So it's time to be together, and it's time to utilize these opportunities positively, and of course deal with the negativity, the drawbacks that comes along with it, but keep moving forward. Ultimately, it's all about moving forward.
Thank you, Madhurima. Ultimate thing is perseverance. We keep on moving. We keep on moving ahead and trying to do best as we can do for the community that we live in. So the final words from DRR Ozas on the same.
First, Raj and Madhurima have covered a lot of things. I'll just keep it really short and sweet. The world doesn't need superheroes. I think the world needs lots and lots of more Rotaractors. So stay connected to the movement, whether as an alumni, as a Rotaractor, as a Rotarian, just stay connected to the movement, because by doing that, you're one step towards doing good for somebody. And I think that's the message I would like to share with everyone.
Thank you so much. It was so nice and fascinating to be with this younger group of Rotaractors, and I could recall my days when I was DRR. So very happy to have DRR Ojas, DRR Madhurima, DRR Kausar, and DRR Raz in this session, and I myself got to know more, more and more knowledge about Rotaract and how it's taking part in this correct context of COVID and beyond. So I'm very proud that we have a Rotaractors like Diara, like yourself here, who are like taking this responsibility on their shoulders. So I can assure myself that Rotaract is in safe hand. So thank you so much for being there for the Rotaract in this very difficult time of the year, and hope to see you again in the days to come, and have a good time and stay safe. Thank you so much.
That definitely was an insightful and interesting discussion. We thank our panelists and the moderator for making the panel discussion very fruitful and knowledgeable. Join us for our next plenary session on the topic Global Grant for Rotaract, which will begin shortly.